9th of March, and I welcome you all at the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in today's video, we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu newspaper along with the relevant articles, their background and way forward. And before starting, I would like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box. Now, first of all, let's try to understand the overview of newspaper so that we can make a sense of articles as which are important for our exam. So the first article, EPFO set to marginally hike interest on deposits to 8.15%. So basically guys, the new interest rates for financial year 23 have been announced, but you are not required to go and track these interest rate hikes or reductions, whatever the cases, for the UPSC examination. Then constitutional bodies fighting corruption under attack. Fine. Then guys, then there are these political articles, etc., that has been given, not very much important for exam. Then in city sectional, again, the regional news, tenders, advertisements, regional political issues have been given. So we don't have any of the much relevant article here vis-a-vis the exam is concerned. Fine, so we'll move and again advertisements continue. So we'll directly move to editorial page. So in editorial, the first article, a disturbing example of the normalization of lawfare. So we'll understand the concept of lawfare and how it is being normalized. We'll take this particular thing. Then the suspect moves. So this particular article talks about the recent decision where the reservation for the Muslims have been diluted. We'll see this article with respect to the examination as what development has happened. Then after that, need for sector specific safeguards in tech aid. So the article talks about the data protection bill 2022 and basically the European legislation, American legislations have been compared. We'll see that. Tactical retreat, Netanyahu cannot deliver on his agenda. So the article talks about the political crisis going on in Israel. Now understand this thing guys, that in international section, you need to read those particular articles or those developments which will have impact on India's interest or are which are related with India's foreign policy. So internal political matters in every country, we can't track and you are not required to go on that for UPSC exams purpose. Then understanding the street dog human conflict. So guys, basically recently it has been seen that there are many of the street dog attacks that have happened, and after that many people have advocated many of the stringent things such as the culling of street dogs, etc. So the article is going on the street dog human conflict and the incidents, etc., are being discussed, but the article doesn't contains much of the relevant academic substance. Then sleeper cells keep Punjab awake. Okay, so guys, the article is talking about the condition of Punjab and how whether the Aam Aadmi Party is able to control it or not, and all such things. More young Albanians cross into the UK for new beginning. Okay, so basically, guys, so here the article is talking about the migration patterns. Fine. Then text and context page, the quota careful in Karnataka. So basically we have also one more article in editorial section. So it is in line with that article only. We'll take it. Then what does Muslim personal law say on inheritance? So guys, what this article is talking about, this article talks about a couple from Kerala who have applied to get their marriage registered under the Special Marriage Act. So they said that now they have registered that particular thing after 30 years that they have went in nikah. Then what Quran says on that particular thing, verse 7 of Quran, and all these things have been provided here. Now the article is going on in too much bare line details of the Shariat law, okay, and all such kind of things. So for examination, much academic substance is not there. I will not advise you to go too much in detail in this particular article. Now understand this thing guys, that social issues is mentioned in GS paper number 1, but in the name of social issues you are not required to go in customary law. Okay, so that is something that you should understand. Then this is the article, a look into the history and expansion of the anti-vaccine movement in the US. So guys, US, there is a kind of a group which advocates that the vaccines, they are anti-vacciners, so they don't support the vaccine. So that history is being talked about here. Okay, anti-vax movement. Then again, here guys, we don't have much of the relevant article. UPI payment of 2000 may attract up to 1.1% of fees. This is being said. However, it might discourage the digital payments. Okay. Then further, we have largely the political articles. No need to go too much in detail, guys. Here, fine. SEO, India's SEO meeting is being discussed here. So this year India is the chair at SEO. We'll see that. Then prices of essential medicines set to see a hike. So NLEM will see. Poor quality drugs, government cancels license. No need to go and no need to track. But just understand this particular thing. That guys, in last year there are many incidents that have happened where for example, cough syrups were exported by India to countries such as Gambia, where the poisoning incidents have been found. So firms, pharmaceutical companies manufacturing such substandard products are needed to be tamed. Okay. Then further moving on, guys. Australian technology may help generate power from gold mines. We'll see green gravity technology here. Fine, students with type 1 diabetes to be given proper care. National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Then after that, moving on, fire at Mexico-US border, boundary demarcation with China will happen soon. Now, these are just the evolutionary political articles which are coming from international arena, but the article doesn't contain the academic relevant substance. China ramping up bailout package to Pakistan, Sri Lanka and other BRI countries. So Pakistan, Sri Lanka are already facing an economic crisis. So in order to support them, the bailout packages are being given by China. Then further moving on, India urges G20 to find a way to reduce widening trade financing gap. So what is trade financing gap? We'll understand that. Then after that, Adani stock slumps. So corporate trends are not important for the examination. Australian motorcycle firm KTM is 20% growth. Largely the political articles. No need to go too much in detail here. Okay. Then after that, we have this sports page. So this is, guys, the overview of entire newspaper. Now let's discuss relevant articles for our examination one by one. So in every class, we start with a GS quote, and today we'll be taking the quotation from James E. Faust. So James E. Faust says, honesty is more than not lying. It is a truth telling, truth speaking, truth living, and truth loving. So honesty is not just according to James E. Faust, honesty is not just a passive value, rather it is an active value where a person doesn't follows honesty but tries to live a life in adherence with honesty. So you can use this particular quotation in GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Now, taking up the first article for today. So guys, what we have done here, we have clubbed two articles from here. One article is from text and context page and one article is from editorial section, because both of these articles are talking on this Karnataka reservation issue that has happened. We'll see this particular article vis-a-vis GS paper number 2, polity, social justice. Now, before going in this particular article, let me give you some of the basics first. So basically, guys, India being a welfareist nation, India being a welfareist state, aims to provide social justice to the deprived ones. And when we talk about providing social justice to the deprived one, many number of times they have to be given some extra enabling circumstances. And in this extra enabling circumstances, we have the concept of affirmative action. Affirmative action. So affirmative action includes reservation. Affirmative action includes reservation. Now, the idea of reservation is to give a head start to the people who have been deprived, who have been marginalized. Now we give reservation on social criteria, and recently after the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, we also have introduced reservation on economic criteria. For example, when we talk about the social criteria, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs get the reservation. Scheduled caste, they get reservation of 15%. Scheduled tribe get reservation of 7.5%. OBCs get the reservation of 27%. Then EWS category, economically weaker section, has also been introduced after 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, and they get 10% reservation. In total, 59% reservation is given, which has recently been upheld by Supreme Court also. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that as reservations are being given on the social circumstances, some of the states have also included the Muslim communities under OBC, other backward classes, and Muslims are also being given reservation under OBC. In this particular direction, Karnataka was a state which has given OBC reservation to Muslims. Now, what has happened? The government in the Karnataka, it has done away with the 4% reservation to the Muslims that were being given under OBC category. And this 4% reservation has been given to it has been distributed to Veershaiva Lingyats as well as Vokaliga community. So Veershaiva Lingyat and Vokaliga communities, they have been given that 4% reservation, which was earlier being given to the Muslims. Moreover, there is also one more change that has been that has happened, and that is this, that the government has also talked about internal classification within the scheduled caste. Now, for example, I told you that scheduled caste, let's say they are getting X percentage of reservation. Now, this is for the entire group. Internal division is not there. For example, within the scheduled caste, there is A community, B community, C community, D community. So, for example, X percentage is being given. It is for this entire group. It's not determined that, okay, how much A will get, how much B will get, how much C will get, how much D will get. And whenever we have such kind of reservations, often there have been the issues, that it is said that some of the communities, they take the maximum share of reservation. Okay, this is something that has been seen. For example, when we talk about the scheduled tribes, often it has been said that within the scheduled tribe, Minas in the Rajasthan, they have become very much advanced and they have become very much modern. They take the maximum benefit. Within the OBCs also, there are certain communities which are saying that they have taken the maximum benefit. So basically, what has happened? So basically, within the 101 scheduled caste, there is also the internal reservation that has also been described. So these are the two changes that have happened. Now, this particular article is also being said that it is a kind of a politically motivated move, because the ruling party doesn't count Muslims as its vote bank. And the justification that has been given is that backward classes are not to be based on religion. So backwardness cannot be seen on the basis of religion. Backwardness has to be seen on the basis of social backwardness. Economic criteria is also there now, but religion cannot be the criteria. So on this particular ground, the reservation has been removed. Now, when we talk about the constitution, even constitution doesn't talks about the reservation on the basis of religion, as well as the judicial verdicts have also upheld that reservation only on the basis of religion cannot be given. But within the religion, there happens to be the community which happens to be backward. So there needs to be the specialized studies that are to be carried, and such vulnerable minorities are to be identified on the basis of relevant criteria. Okay, so this is all about this particular article. Fine. Beyond that, guys, you are not required to go, because then it becomes little bit politicized. Fine. Now moving to next article. Australian technology may help generate power from defunct gold mines in KGF. So basically Kolar gold fields. Kolar gold fields are the defunct gold mines that lie in Karnataka. Now these defunct mines, they can be put to a sustainable and a productive use. And in this particular capacity, the proposals of green gravity are being proposed. So we will see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, technologies for renewable energy. GS paper number 3, technologies for renewable energy. Now, let us first of all see the basic premise. As well as, guys, this particular article can also be used for your prelims examination. So basically, when we talk about the renewable energy, there often comes a issue with respect to the renewable energy. It is said that renewable energy happens to be the unreliable one. Why? Because if we talk about the solar energy, it will not be available during the time of night. Sometimes when there are the intense cloud cover, then also the potential of solar panels to harvest the energy, it will be reduced. Moreover, when we talk about the wind power will also not be can also not be leveraged on the windless days. So renewable energy, it often has this particular challenge that it is erratic. So to solve this particular challenge, many other methodologies or many other technologies are to be used which can substitute that particular gap. And here there is idea of this green gravity. Now, what is this green gravity? So idea is that basically the defunct mines. Now, first of all, let me tell you the idea. So idea is that what we can do, we can have this particular rock or this block kind of structure at a particular height, and this particular structure will be rolled by the gravity in this particular slope, and as it will be rolling, as it will be rolling, what it will done, it will generate power. It will generate power, and that particular power can be harvested, and that power can be used for electricity. This is the idea. Now the point is that if you will roll down this particular block or the stone at the lower levels, then how to bring it up? So this particular thing can be done during the daytime. For example, what can be done? The places where such mines are there, we can use these mines. So what is the idea? Idea is that there are the defunct mines that are there. For example, Kolar fields, they are defunct mines. What can be done here? And these mines often they go hundreds and thousands meter deep. So a weighted block weighing around 40 ton, it will be brought at the top of the mine shaft using the renewable power which will be generated during the day, that is the solar energy. And in the night time, when power is not available, when the sun is not there, this particular block will be rolled down, and when it will be rolled down, it will generate the power. So what will happen? Basically there will be, it will power a generator, fine, via this connected shaft, and that power can be used for electricity. Now it is being said that the speed by which this particular block will go down, that particular speed can be determined by braking, and by that particular way the amount of electricity that we need, it can also be managed, it can also be determined. So this is the green gravity, that is using the gravity, using the slope to generate electricity. That is green gravity, and this can be used in mines or such kind of structures. So this is going to be a important one, and you just need to know these particular ideas, because just ideas have also been asked in UPSC exam. That, for example, recently green gravity was in news, what it relates to. Now, so this green gravity project is being, the idea is of Australia. Okay. Now, moving on, guys, in this particular direction to the next article. So, prices of essential medicines, set to see a hike from April 1st. Fine. So, we'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 3, pharmaceutical sector, as well as prelims examination. We can use this particular article. Let's understand that what the article is actually talking about. First of all, let me tell you what are these essential medicines, what is this national list of essential medicines, and what change is now coming. So basically, guys, understand this thing, that there are certain disease which has a lot of burden. It infects a lot of people, and often people might not be able to afford the medicines because of the poverty. But Article 21 of the Indian Constitution talks about right to life and liberty. And within the right to life, okay, Pashchim Bengal Kisan Mazdoor case, for example, of Supreme Court, it has been provided that right to life will not be completed till the right to health is provided. Fine. So, in order to provide accessibility of certain medicines, which happens to be essential, we need to take certain steps. And therefore, what has happened? National list of essential medicines is prepared. National list of essential medicines is prepared. This list is released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And in this particular list, there are certain medicines that are listed, which are certain medicines are listed, and their price is capped. Their price is capped. They cannot be sold beyond the price that is mentioned, that will be determined. Now, the question comes that who will determine the price? So, price will be determined by National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. So, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority will decide the maximum price of certain medicines. Then those medicines will be added into the national list of essential medicines. The sellers cannot sell it beyond that. Okay. Now, this national list of essential medicines is based on the lines of essential medical list, which has been proposed by World Health Organization, WHO. Now, there are many factors which are considered before adding a particular medicine to the NLEM list. For example, whether this medicine is essential, whether that disease which will be treated by that particular medicine, whether that disease infects large number of people, what is the disease burden, efficacy and safety, then cost effectiveness. Sometimes medicines can be expensive, so to make them cost effective, it is added there. And a drug once added can also be deleted from this particular list. So what are the factors? If a list gets banned because if it is assumed that it is not safe, there is a toxicity or some side effects. So if a list, if a drug gets banned, or if there is a drug safety issue that emerge, then it can be removed. Okay, now understand this thing. So as I told you that there is national list of essential medicines and there is national pharmaceutical pricing authority which will fix the price. So understand these particular things, guys, that inflation is increasing, and as inflation is increasing, the prices have to be revised. Otherwise manufacturers will go in loss and there will be no incentive for the manufacturers to manufacture that particular medicine. So therefore, now what has happened? So the prices of the essential medicines will be hiked from April 1. So basically, the pharmaceutical bodies, they have said that WPI, wholesale price index, is around 12.12%, 12.12%. So inflation is high. Okay, at WPI it is at around 12% according to the pharmaceutical bodies. So they said that it is to be revised and now it will be done since from April 1. So this is all about this particular thing, guys. I hope that you have understood it. Okay, and guys, please do download this synoptic notes because the most important content is given here, and often the things which are not there in the article, the background, it is added. It is added separately here. Then moving to next article, India to host meeting of security advisors from SCO countries. Now, 2023, India is at the chair of G20. Secondly, India is also chairing SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So as India is chairing the SCO, so there will be many meetings that will be conducted and India will be leading them. So the security advisors from the SCO countries, okay, they will come and they will meet. Okay. So let's understand that what is this SCO and what are the basic things that you should know. So when we talk about SCO, it stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and SCO's genesis happened in 1996 by the name of Shanghai 5. And this organization initially was created to resolve the boundary issues, boundary demarcation and boundary demilitarization between Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan. So 5 countries, therefore Shanghai 5. Then what happened? Uzbekistan also entered, and with the entry of Uzbekistan, the name of Shanghai 5 got changed into the SCO, that is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now the SCO has been formalized after the signing of SCO Charter. Now this SCO Charter was signed in 2002, and after that its mandate, its scope increased. It now just not only was concerned with the demilitarization and border issues, rather it started focusing on a wide number of areas. For example, it became a Eurasian political, economic and military organization. Peace, security, stability, counter-terrorism, all these issues became the concern areas of SCO. When we talk about SCO, it happens to be the world's largest regional organization, covering 60% of area of Eurasia. Keep it in mind, not world, Eurasia. 40% of world population, 30% of global GDP. Now, India and Pakistan has also become the member in 2017, and Iran happens to be the latest country that has joined it in 2022. So, India has assumed 2023 a chair and will be hosting the 2023 summit. Now, these are all the priorities of SCO: mutual trust, fine, effective cooperation, energy, transport, tourism, and within SCO there is SCO RATS, which is a permanent body of SCO, and it is specifically it is created to tackle terrorism, extremism, separatism in Central Asia region. So this is the SCO, and within the SCO, fine, security advisors meet will now be held. Okay, security advisors meet will now be held. So what it is the part of the preparatory meeting of SCO. So this is something that is there. Fine. So moving to the next article. The need for sector-specific safeguards in TechAid. The need for sector-specific safeguards in TechAid. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that as digital technologies have increased, it has provided a lot of ease, it has provided a lot of convenience to the people, and digital economy has it has also its own economic potentials, and by 2026 digital economy will be worth $1 trillion. Now, as people are using digital technologies, they are also creating a big digital footprint. They are also creating a lot of trails of their personal data on digital platforms. That personal data is to be protected. Why? Because in India, under Article number 21, right to privacy has been declared as a fundamental right by Supreme Court in Puttaswamy judgment. So their right to privacy is to be protected. And for that particular protection, government has come out with the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2022. Okay, it has been brought. Now it aims to safeguard the citizens' information. Now this particular bill recognizes the rights of the citizens over their personal data, the responsibility of data collectors. Okay, it also has certain clauses which also talks about the sectoral data protection. Now guys, what do we mean by the sectoral data protection? So understand this particular thing, that there are two type of data protection systems that we have. One is a comprehensive data protection system and other is a sector specific data protection system. What is comprehensive? In comprehensive, the entire economy or entire country, all the digital data, they will be regulated by one overarching law, by one overarching system. Let me give you one example. There is European Union's General Data Protection Regulation. General Data Protection Regulation. It focuses on this comprehensive approach, which regulates the data governance, which regulates the data management across all the sectors under a single umbrella. That is a comprehensive approach. But then there is also the sectoral approach. What is the sectoral approach? In which the economy or the nation or will be divided in different sectors. For example, health sector. So the data that is being generated in the health sector, that will be regulated separately. Financial data will be regulated separately. Okay, non-personal data will be regulated separately. So there is a sectoral approach, and sectoral approach is largely followed in United States. Okay, so for example, in USA, there are the different acts, different regulators for regulating the data generated in different sectors. For example, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, it regulates the data in healthcare. Okay, Graham-Leach-Billy Act, it regulates the data in financial sector, particularly by the financial institutions. So it is a kind of a patchwork of regulations. Now, it provides that sectoral regulation, it provides expertise when you are regulating on one sector, and if a regulator is expert in that particular sector, they can understand deep nuances. Okay, and they can effectively regulate that particular sector. It can understand market dynamics better, technologies, risks better. Fine, this is something. Now, but guys, it has certain problems also. We'll discuss that. Now, when we talk about the current bill, fine, when we talk about the current bill, it tries to tackle the issue of conflicting sectoral regulations. India also, we have different sectors which are regulating the data. For example, if I give you the sectoral regulation in India, we have National Health Authority and its health data management policy. So as per health data management policy, the data in health sector is regulated. Then Reserve Bank of India gives directions on the storage of payment data. So payment data, okay, and payment data's protection is done as per the RBI. So in India also we have the sectoral regulators. Now sectoral regulators are good, but guys, it is provided that often there are certain problems also in the sectoral regulation. For example, there might be inconsistencies. There can be problem in enforcement. There can be overlapping. There can be contradictory provision. Okay, this is something that is there. Now, when we talk about India's digital data protection bill that has come, it provides this particular thing that it will complement the existing regulations. But if is conflict is there, then the bill will take precedence. The point is that the bill is advocating that the sectoral regulations will continue. Sectoral regulations will be complemented by the bill wherever there is a gap, wherever there is a gray area, and if there is a conflict, then the bill will come in force. This is something that has been provided. Now, it has been provided that though this is good, but still we need to understand that the comprehensive regulation is more effective because overlap functions will not be there, contradictions within will not be there. Now, when we talk about India, so India needs to understand that we need a mix of both. See, entirely the comprehensive system, GDPR model may not work in India. Okay, why? Because the data protection board that is designed, it is a kind of a grievance agency and not as a regulator. So the data protection board that will be brought, it is just a grievance redressal body, not a regulator. So we need to have a regulator. So right now the comprehensive system cannot be established, and even the sectoral regulations that are continuing there, it has certain problem. We need to find a right kind of balance. So this is, guys, the entire things that have been provided in this article. So now moving to next article. So this article talks about a disturbing example of the normalization of lawfare. Okay. Now we'll see this article with respect to polity and political ethics. Polity, GS paper number 2, and political ethics, GS paper number 4. Now let's understand this word weaponization of lawfare or lawfare. What lawfare is? Lawfare means weaponization of law. Many number of times the law is being used as a weapon to target certain type of people. If you take the example, guys, often what has happened, sedition has been used to target certain people. Okay, when we talk about the British times, so Britishers have used the sedition to target the political leaders. So that was the weaponization of law, and that is called as lawfare. Now it is being said that in the legal systems, often to intimidate your opponent, to harm your opponent, or to delegitimize your opponent, the laws are being used by the government. The laws are being used, and mainly on political opponents these laws are used. This is something, and judiciaries are always very much alert in the welfare and in the constitutional driven democracies that powerful political figures should not use law against their rival. And it has been said that now there seems to be a kind of a lawfare that has been started. It has been said that conviction of Mr. Rahul Gandhi under defamation, okay, and his conviction and then his disqualification seems to be an example of lawfare that is being used. Now, why it is being called as a lawfare? There are certain points that have been put forward by the author. Okay, so all the viewpoints are the author's viewpoint. So he says this particular thing. Let's see. When we talk about the defamation, section 499 and 500 provides for the provision of defamation. Now the defamation is, first of all, the provision that has been questioned a lot, that should it continue or even not. That is one thing. However, coming here, it has been said that often in defamation there is one particular very clear rule in a defamation, that is, if reference are made to an indefinite class of people, an individual cannot claim that they are the member of that class and have been defamed. So if a particular class is being talked about, fine, then one individual cannot say, okay, that I belong to this class, I have been defamed and I will file a case against this person. Now actually, guys, what happened in the defamation case of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he made comment on Modi surname. Okay, he made such comment. Fine, will deliberately not be using it. So it is being said that if somebody says that all lawyers are thief, that then a lawyer cannot come to the court and say that he has been defamed because he's a lawyer. All lawyers, I say all lawyers are thief. Any lawyer cannot come and say that I have been defamed because I am a lawyer and you are calling me thief. Such far-fetched inferences cannot be made. This has been provided, one thing. Then second, it is being said that clear defamation, now criminal defamation has a maximum punishment of 2 years. Maximum punishment of 2 years, and 2 year, that is the maximum penalty, is very rarely given. Why? Because here what has happened, you have just used the speech, and just for speaking something, fine, and which has not led to any action, we don't use the maximum punishment. Okay, this is something. And it has been said that even there are no recorded instance when the courts have given the maximum sentence. Okay, now incidentally, under RP also, if a person has to be disqualified, 2 years is the minimum punishment. So here maximum punishment has been given. There might be some kind of a logic which is unknown, and this can be an example of lawfare that is being used. So this is disturbing in a healthy democracy. This is something that has been provided by the author. Okay, so that is all about this particular article, guys. Now moving to the next article. India urges G20 meet to find ways to reduce widening trade finance gaps. Now we'll understand the idea of trade finance gaps for prelims examination, and as well as for GS3 we can take it. So basically, guys, understand this particular thing, that in international trade there is one exporter and one is importer. Now exporter will sell certain goods to importer. Okay, obviously importer has to make the payment to exporter. Now as importer and exporter are located in different countries, fine, exporter will need payment as early as possible, but importer cannot release the payment immediately, because if importer release the payment in advance, what is the guarantee that an exporter will supply the goods? Secondly, often guys, the economics of trade has an element of credit window. So importer wants to have a credit, okay, but exporter or the seller needs the payment immediately. Moreover, many number of times there might also be the financial constraint that immediate payment cannot be released. So there needs to be the trade financing. What is trade financing? Letter of credit, for example. Okay, LC, letter of credit. Now, what is a letter of credit? Letter of credit is an assurance which is to be released to the exporter by the bank that yes, your payment will come. So for the trade financing. Now, what is the trade financing? So trade financing simply means, refers to the difference. Trade financing gap refers to the difference between the demand for trade finance and the availability of trade financing. Okay, so for trade, importer, exporters, they need finance. Okay, if they are getting, good. If they are not getting, then there is this trade financing gap. So this trade financing gap, okay, so when we talk about trade financing, it is used to facilitate international trade transaction and can include letter of credit, trade credit, export credit, insurance, all these things. Right now, the organizations as well as the world countries and the financial institutions, they are not facilitating the trade financing. So there are the trade financing gap. Importer, exporters, they don't have accessibility to afford to easy finance. So therefore, the G20 countries within their own countries should address it. Okay, so this is something that has been provided. Now coming to the main practice question. So the question for today is that criminalization in politics may have far-reaching consequences for Indian democracy. In this context, discuss the landmark judgment pertaining to criminalization of politics in India. So this will be a GS paper number 2, 10-marker question. So guys, this is all about today. And guys, if you are liking this video, if you think it is benefiting you, please do help our channel to reach to more people. And you can do this by liking this video, by sharing this video with other fellow aspirants, and by leaving your valuable comments, because they help us to keep going on in this direction. Thank you so much guys. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then,